Hi, I'm Stephanie.
Hello, I'm Deborah, and together we are the TikTok Bells.
Well, TikTok Bells is an Instagram account that both of us started. It's because both of us had our personal accounts, which we feature our lifestyle, our travels, our fashion, and watches. So we thought, why don't we come together and put our watches into one account, and that's where we started TikTok Bells.
As what Stephanie has mentioned, we each actually have our own collection of watches, and we often feature the watches on our Instagram. And over the years, we often actually have, especially female followers, who started asking us questions about watches, such as like, hey, if I have a certain budget, what watches should I be looking at, or if I would like to leave a legacy for my children, what should I be looking at? So we thought that why don't we start a watch appreciation community by women for the women in support of their watch collecting interest. Stephanie and I, we met back in 2014 over a buy-sell platform called Carousel.
Yeah. And at that time, I put up a Cadena, which is a MS padlock for sale.
Yeah, and they are actually pretty collectibles, and I actually still have the padlock, which I purchased from her. So that's how we connected and we started talking. In the beginning, the conversation were mostly about fashion and handbags. But as time develops, we noticed that we actually have more common interests than just fashion and handbags, and that's how the friendship developed from there.
I started collecting watches at a very young age, so I spent my first bonus buying a Rolex. Thereafter, I started my collection with Patek Philippe. I take Patek Philippe like heirlooms to my children, and because I have two daughters, I see them passing these watches to them in future. So I'm a big sucker for the slogan, you never really own a Patek Philippe, you save it for the next generation.
Well, Stephanie is basically my watch Wikipedia. So every time when I've asked her about a watch, somehow she always managed to pull out from her watch top hat that, oh, I've got that as well. Hey, how about if I just bring it over for you to give it a try, right? And it was also through Steph that I sort of like realized that I can't really leave my collection of handbags or ready to wear to my son. And she was the one who made me realize that, hey, why don't look at watch collecting, and that's how you can actually leave that legacy to your child. We actually have a number of watches quite similar, including the Aquanaut 5065.
Yeah, I bought my 5065 very early, and it was probably one of the earliest Aquanaut available then.
Whereas I actually acquired mine much later, and obviously from a pre-loved gallery because it's already been discontinued.
For the two of us, we like simple two-hand watches. So most of our collection are mostly two-hand watches and not too much of a complications, because I'm lazy even to like adjust the date.
So we both are big fan of Cartier watches, and our collection ranges from vintage to neo-vintage. And where we differs would be Steph's collection has more of the CP collection, whereas mine focus will be more on the newer novelty and also the Cartier Privé collection.
For myself, I like shapes, and that's what got me into Cartier. My favorite piece would be the Crash, and I missed the very first Crash that was sold at Heirloom Gallery, and I was just an hour late. So because of that, I made the owner hunt me another Crash, which he did finally manage to after a few months. So I acquired my Crash 2 years ago.
I actually mostly have the tanks in my Cartier collection, such as like the Boscalon, the American, Asymmetric, and most recently the Chinoise. And even Steph has actually noticed that, hey, Dabs, you have too many rectangular Cartier watches. So when I was actually offered an opportunity to place a special order with Cartier, I jumped at the opportunity to pick the Tunu as the special order watch. And I've actually had it made in platinum case with the ruby crown because that's my birthstone. And also I really wanted a burgundy Roman numerals to express my passion for the brand. And most importantly is the chemin de fer, which is the chapter ring. And I really wanted it to be placed at the perimeter of the dial instead of the inside. And I've just recently received the watch and I'm really happy with the final creation. I've also been given an opportunity to own a Pebble. I'm really delighted about that. So hopefully my collection is going to be a little bit more shapely.